Good morning, everybody. It's a Sunday morning, and I don't know. It's almost noon, so if this is still morning for you, good morning. If this is some other time, good whatever time that is. I am your goober philosopher checking back in, and just want to talk about some good stuff today, some deep topics. Wanted to get into the topic of culture and what that means for the community you're in, and just kind of go through that. So, yesterday I went to the closest city to where I live, which is the city of Brotherly Shove, otherwise known as Philadelphia. I don't know why it's called the city of brotherly love, because I feel as if that's not the culture. Unless your brother pulls a gun on you and takes your money and then runs away. But it's not that bad. I mean, we did mainly just stay in Center City, so pretty, I don't know, pretty standard city experience. But they have cleaned it up a bit in some ways and still really dirty in other ways. I'm not here to rag on Philadelphia. I guess it's my home city at this point. But, it has a lot to be desired, and it's not the worst city by far. But, I don't know. I think the culture in Philadelphia is pretty similar to a lot of cities. You know, it's a very hustle and bustle feel to it. But at least, like New York City, for example, I think there's way more commerce and it just feels more alive in New York City than it does in Philly. I go to this train station that's right in the middle of the city. It's called Suburban Station. And I don't know when those shops were alive and doing well, but when you go through that train station now, it just feels like a zombie apocalypse has befallen on the country, because there is nothing open ever. I don't know how many times I've been through Suburban just to see abandoned kiosks and stores that they could be functioning, but now they're not. So that's the vibe you get when you go into Philly. It's this was once a great city. I would say now it's an okay city. But there's things to do. I live in the suburbs, so there's not a lot to do in the suburbs compared to the city, and that's just the way it is no matter where you are. I've seen that around the world. I've gone to various cities around the world, and ultimately, when you go to visit a new country, you fly into the major city. If you're going to Ireland, you fly into Dublin. If you're going to the Netherlands, you fly into Amsterdam. Cities are kind of the hub, whether you like to consider yourself a city slicker or just your casual, I don't know, suburbanite. I don't know, whatever you are, right? You could be raised on a farm. You could be someone that grew up in the city. But ultimately, I think we could all agree that the city has more to do than out in the country where, you have cows and horses and whatnot. I mean, that's cool too. Don't get me wrong. I think that's a really, I don't know, rewarding lifestyle if you have a farm. But no one is coming into Philadelphia, at least that I know, flying in on a plane, and they go out into the countryside to have fun. They stay in the city. That's what they're going to do. So we were in the city yesterday. We caught some jazz, and I mean, the culture in Philadelphia, I would say, is pretty alive, which is good. I feel like it kind of declined for a bit of time during COVID. I would go into the city quite often pre-March of 2020, and then I didn't go into the city for quite some time because shit got crazy in the city. And I think that was just a trend throughout a lot of American cities. Crime rates shot the fuck up during COVID. I think they peaked in 2021 in terms of just overall crime. And now fast forward to today, at least we could go into the city, get food. We went to a jazz show, and it was fun. Like that was part of the city culture that I experienced yesterday. But yeah, I just wanted to get into the topic of culture and like what is it. I did like an AI search of the definition of culture, and this is what AI, I use Perplexity, told me that culture is the shared set of values, beliefs, customs, and practice that shape how a group of people think, behave, and make sense of the world around them. And I really do think that kind of encompasses what culture is. Like, we don't really use this textbook Merriam-Webster definition when we're thinking of the word culture. Like, you just hear it colloquially, like people just use it and say, oh, it's the culture. Like, there's sports culture, there's political culture, music culture. I mean, that's what we experienced yesterday. We went to a jazz club. That's like music culture. But there's so many ways you can use the word culture. But really what it is a system that shapes the way you view the world. Like, that's what I think culture is. It's a mindset that a group of people subscribe to, and that kind of shapes the way you interpret new data. Like, if you're a part of a certain culture, sports could be a big deal. Like, Philadelphia has a huge sports culture. Like, when I was going to the city yesterday, people were wearing the hockey team is called the Flyers. I mean, their sports culture was alive and well last night. And I honestly, I'm not big into the hockey culture. So I had forgotten that like it was playoff hockey for the Philadelphia team, the Flyers. So it kind of shows you like the gaps in your understanding when you're not deeply in a culture. Like, I was just going to the city to have fun with friends, to have food, and enjoy jazz, right? That's a certain culture, the foodie culture, the restaurant culture. But like, depending on what culture you subscribe to, it kind of shapes the way you view like going out to Philly for the night. I was going there for one reason, but there was thousands of people going for a completely different reason. Like, our experience of Philadelphia was shaped by the culture that we were in, right? Like, that's what culture is. It is what you do. It's more than just saying, hey, I'm a sports fan, but it's who you are. You're a Flyers fan. Maybe you paint your face orange and black just for the team. And you're certainly wearing an orange and black jersey of some kind. So yeah, I mean, like, culture really does vary, and that's really what makes the difference from city to city. It's not just I'm in Philadelphia, I'm in New York City, I'm in Los Angeles. It's all the same. It's skyscrapers, it's streets, there's restaurants, there's homeless people. Every city has all that. But the biggest difference is the culture. Like, Philadelphia has a culture of sports fandom. It's not the biggest city in the United States. So, it's a little more close-knit than, say, Los Angeles or New York City, where, New York City, for example, has endless amount of sports teams, but I feel like their fan base is not die-hard. Like, Philadelphia's sports culture is die-hard. Like, if you're going to a Flyers game, you're with a bunch of people that love the team. There are some like wishy-washy fans. Like, I'm kind of in that category where like I'll watch hockey playoffs, and I'm not certainly like the biggest hockey fan, but I'll go to a Flyers game if I have a reason to. But other cultures from other cities vary very much. I mean, I was in Amsterdam last year, which I think I described in the last video. And consequently, Amsterdam, that I love the culture there. I mean, it was so different than Philadelphia culture. Like, right off the bat, you notice that there's different lanes for different things. So there's a pedestrian walkway, and then there's a bicycle walkway. And my friend, who, great guy, but maybe his self-awareness is not great, kept walking in the bike lane. And I tell you, the culture in Amsterdam, if you're on a bicycle, is get the fuck out of my way. Like, I have the right. I don't know legally if they have the right of way, but their culture is like, they ring their little bell, like it's a little ring, ring. And, that might sound like benign, but really they're saying like, you have about 2 seconds to get the fuck out of my way before I hit you with my bicycle, buddy. And my friend almost got like walloped like 20 times the first day we got into Amsterdam, like almost destroyed. And I'd be like, dude, you got to move. Like, I kept telling him, like, get out of the bike lane, get out of the bike lane. Because the culture there is a very bicycle centric. Like, you're getting from A to B destination on a bicycle. You don't have to do that there in Amsterdam. You could take a tram. The tram took us anywhere we wanted to go. Uber's alive and well there. And then there's probably some other ways you can get around. But I did take away from like my travels from last year's like how vastly different cultures are from city to city. Like Amsterdam's culture and New York City's culture are completely different. Even though New York City was once called New Amsterdam before it changed to New York City, the culture couldn't be really the same at all. And that's what makes a city is the culture. So yeah, I like in my travels, I haven't traveled everywhere, but I've been to various cities. I've been to Ireland, I've been to Dublin, I've been to Belfast, I've been to London. So I spent some time in Israel. I've seen, Jerusalem. I've seen Tel Aviv. Been to Aruba. So, I haven't seen the whole entire plane, but I have seen enough different places to be like, oh, this is very different than Philadelphia. So like, what is culture, other than what I described to you, by that definition? It's really kind of like the Matrix in a way where it shapes your whole view of the world. And, one thing I know with European culture is, to me, it seemed a little more close-knit than U.S. culture. It just felt like to me people were easier to talk to. Maybe it's just like being a foreigner, because I know, and even in America, if you have like a British accent, people will just talk to you to hear your perspective, and they're just like fascinated by the fact you say like pip pip cheerio, or I'm not trying to be rude, but like you say stuff that you wouldn't hear in Philadelphia unless you're being ironic or something. So yeah, it felt like in Ireland, for example, like when we went to the hotel room or went to the hotel lobby, like the people were more conversational. And I felt like that throughout the whole trip. Like we went to Ireland, then we went to the Netherlands. And throughout the trip, I felt like I was just connecting with people, and it was easy to have conversations because they want to hear about how Americans view the world and like their culture. I think the American culture is very dominant throughout the world. It's very rare that you, especially in Europe, you go somewhere where they haven't heard of certain celebrities. They're just like an American celebrity, or just like certain sports teams. The American culture kind of is everywhere. Like even if you leave the States, you will see stuff that other cities and other countries have adopted from American culture. It's kind of interesting. And then I guess there's like a trade of like ideas and culture, which is cool, where like we bring back European ideas into America and integrate that as well. Like the pub culture from pub culture from Dublin, and consequently even London. We have pubs here. I mean, I think they started over there and then came over here, but now it's like it's so integrated into our culture to go to the bars with friends. It's just like that in Europe, which is cool. We went to a place called Temple Bar in Dublin, which had like endless amount of bars, and it was a lot of fun. But you kind of like when you go to a city like Dublin, and then you go to any city in America, it kind of all feels the same. And what defines the city is the culture. Like that's what makes you feel like you're somewhere new. Because buildings look like buildings, skyscrapers are skyscrapers. Some cities have historic sites that you don't see over here, and that does feel different. But until you start talking to the people and interacting with them, you really don't get a sense of where you are that's any different than somewhere else you've already been. So yeah, that's just like, a bit of my experience with European culture. But I did refer to American culture, and it got me thinking, like, what is America's culture? Because I've been to a couple cities now, a couple different countries, and like, what is our defining thing that makes American culture? I was thinking about this throughout the week, and I was trying to pinpoint what that is, and I kind of came up with this as like just a quick definition of American culture, and that is we are a country that loves to win and hates to lose in whatever we're doing, whatever the individual does. America, at least the America I know, is founded on winning. Just take the American hockey team in the Olympics that just won gold like in the last 2 months it was. I don't give a shit about hockey, but when your team is on TV, you want to win as an American. And I'm sure Canadians, they wanted their team to win because, Canada created hockey. It's like their football. Of course, there's a lot of investment in it, but it's not just sports. Like, I think American culture is always trying to be the top dog, and we want to be the best at everything. That's just the experience I've seen. Now, are we truly the best at everything? I'm not going to say that. I mean, for example, like, we're not the best soccer team by far. Like, American culture, although we love to win and we want our soccer team to win, we don't really care about soccer. It's just our culture to be competitive. And, when the World Cup comes to the U.S. this summer, and there are going to be games hosted in Philadelphia, I'm sure there's going to be Philadelphians that get involved and they want to see certain teams win, but especially they want to see the United States win. But do we really give a shit about hockey or soccer otherwise? No, we don't care about soccer. It's not really our top sport by far. It's like 5th or 6th on the charts of sports. Football being number 1, and then it kind of falls underneath any other sports like below football in the United States. But soccer, all of a sudden now we're Team USA, right? Because it's in our culture to want to win, to be the best. But do we always reach that point? Probably not. And I do wonder, like, is our culture too fixated on the image of winning and less on like the system that creates the winner? So one thing about American culture is we're very type A. We're doers, go-getters. As far as I know, that's as long as we've existed. America's been founded on like being an individual that succeeds, right? And we're very individualistic. That's like the big difference, I would say, with American culture and European culture, is that we focus on the individual and not the group as winning. And so, America is type A culture. We love cutting our lawns. We love the image of everything is put together. Whether it is or not, we want your life could be in shambles, but your lawn, if you own a house, is immaculate. You cut that lawn at least once a week, right? American culture is all about the image of winning, but I guess my question is, how much of American culture looks at like the ethics of winning? And is there a moral decay that's going on in this American system that, whether we're winning or losing, as long as we have the image of that, that's all that matters. And I wonder if that creates a feeling of isolation. Like, I wonder if the reason why I went to Europe, I felt more connected with random strangers than I do over here, is that, maybe we've gotten to the point of individualism where we can't relate to people anymore because we're so worried about our image and winning, or at least looking like it is, than just being open and having vulnerable conversations with strangers. And some of that, could be like self-preservation. You don't want to talk to random people. I totally get that. But it just felt like in European culture, it was easier to just get around and get along with complete strangers. That was just my perspective on European versus American culture. I hope this video was helpful for you. I hope you get to travel around the world and experience some of the cool European cities that are out there. And if you come to Philadelphia, God bless you. Anyways, have a good day and goodbye.